How are we at the end of season 2 already? Hey, it's Romania Black. How are we here? I feel like season 1 was a very long season. Season 1 of Ace of the Diamond was a very long season. It was 75 episodes. It was great, but it was long. It did feel its length. This has not felt its length, and I get that it's like a third less than the previous season, but it hasn't felt like it's gone by really quickly. I feel like it's gone by really quickly. We're already to the last 3 episodes. Oh my gosh. So yeah, 48, 49, 50, and 51. These are the last 3 episodes of season 2. The game's gonna end because we're at the 8th inning. The game's gonna end in these 3 episodes. Yakushi's ahead by 1. Still 4-3. Tojo is up to bat. Haruichi is right after him. They have 1 out. Kuramochi got out, so it's like, well, it's up to you boys. And it's like, if they don't score this round, then basically it's Yakushi's win, isn't it? Oh my gosh, no pressure. No pressure at all. Oh my gosh, but yeah, we've got that. I totally forgot about the OVAs. I remember back when I was doing season 1 was ending, they're like, oh, there's 3 OVAs for season 1 and there's 2 OVAs for at the end of season 2, and I was like, okay, and I completely forgot about them. So I'm recording this a little bit early, but by the time that it airs, I'm probably going to have this will air Wednesday on Patreon and Thursday on YouTube, and then I think Saturday or Sunday in a couple days I'll air the OVAs, the 2 OVAs that will, and then we'll start season 3 technically, called Act 2. I'm very curious about that, but okay. I don't know what's going to happen. It could be either way. I'm 50-50. You know, with Inashiro, I said this in the last reaction, with Inashiro and Sato, I really thought Inashiro was going to win because it was season 1. You know, you don't want the team to win the first season. But in this, I don't know, because it might not be the end, but it might be the end. It's 50-50. I think it's either team's game. It's either teams to lose. So I don't know how it's going to end. I don't. But the last 3 episodes were amazing. Episode 47 especially, that one was like one of my favorites in the whole show. It was just seeing Sawamura and Miyuki come together, and I'm like... and my prediction is, going into this, I think that Furuya will pitch the final inning. I think Sawamura finished out the 8th inning. I think Furuya's going to pitch that final inning to try to, like, if they can tie this game up, if they can tie it, then I think they'll bring in Furuya the ace for the final inning to pitch against them. And that would be great. I would be all for that. I mean, as much as I love my Sunshine Boy, he's had an amazing run pitching these innings. Him and Nori had a great game, but I think that if you're gonna do the ace proper, bring him in the one final inning, let him pitch. He wants to pitch, and then go from there. That's all I can think of. But oh my gosh. So yeah, it's like, it's been storming outside all day. It's been storming. It's been nasty out. And I was like, ugh. So I poured myself some coffee, and I was like, you know what? We'll just watch Ace of the Diamond. We'll just round out the season, and it'll be great. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, anyway, I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. But yeah, we are going to start ye ol' Ace of the Diamond and finish out season 2, y'all. And then we got Act 2 coming up, so it's not over yet. I'm excited. So we're gonna start that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do this. Oh my god, what was that last episode? My camera, my web camera, like, shut off right as I was looking at the last still of them all in the picture from the OP. My camera just shut off, and I was like, what the heck? I'm glad it decided to do that at the end of the reaction and not during the reaction. Oh my god. Oh, well, that was interesting. I can't believe we just cut straight into the next season. We just cut straight into Nationals. What? That always gives me, like, an anxiety attack whenever a series suddenly jumps ahead in time, and you're like, wait, how'd we get here? What's going on? What? No? Like the montage of them all doing the things over the tournament and stuff, and we don't get to see the Jingu tournament. That's fine. We don't have to see the Jingu tournament. It's okay. But that whole, like, us already starting Nationals, I'm like, wait, what? And they're ahead 4-1, so I'm like, okay, maybe it's fine. I just feel like I need more context. Like, they've jumped ahead, and I was like, wait, Ochi coaching Kataoka? What? So I want to go back to this last episode, because this last episode, man, these went by really fast. I don't have a lot of notes. I have a lot less notes than usual. My handwriting's big because I was so enthralled with these last 3 episodes, and they went by so quickly. I was like, what? They just flew. And especially the last one, I was like, blah, blah, blah. So we got lots to talk about. Oh my gosh. So that's the end of season 2. Damn, and they won. They won, and I love how Raichi has the Jaws music, and Furuya has this, like, operatic music. What? He has, like Flight of the Valkyries or something playing while he's pitching. What is this? I love it. It's different. It's crazy, but... Oh, and okay, I'm glad Sawamura ends where he does with Furuya at the end of this. I'm glad because I got a little worried there for a while until he cheered him on as the ace. I was like, okay, I liked it. I like it a lot. Because here's the thing with Furuya. Furuya is not a jealous character. I think it's easy to get frustrated that Furuya is the ace because we want to cheer for Sawamura. He's our sunshine boy. He's our main protagonist. We want to cheer for him. We want him to be the ace, but he's not. And I feel like I love that the little boys at the end, one was like, Furuya's fastball was so fast, and the other boy was like, Sawamura was really good. And nobody shut that boy down. Nobody was like, Sawamura was dumb. They just said he was loud. But I like that they recognized him too. Like, they're recognizing both Furuya and Sawamura working together. And I was a little worried at first when Sawamura didn't get to pitch the final inning. Although that was the best call. I'm like, that was the best call to make. As much as I love Sawamura, Furuya was the better call. He had been hyping himself up the entire game. And he's the ace. Let him pitch. You give him that number, you expect him to pull through. And he does. But when Sawamura started cheering him on, I felt like that was a great... And it's so difficult because I am a Taurus like Sawamura. Sawamura and I are both Tauruses, and Tauruses are known to be stubborn and jealous. And I'm not usually a jealous person, but I can get jealous sometimes. And it's frustrating. It's really hard when you do get jealous of someone to work beyond it and to be like, to accept it and go beyond it. And maybe it's a Taurus thing. I don't know, but I totally understand where Sawamura is coming from. I'm like, yeah, it sucks when someone has something that you want and you can't have it yet. And it's like, you can either sulk about it or you can be like, I'm going to steal it back. And you can work to get to that point. And it's like, oh, and the moment that Sawamura was like, I'm going to steal that ace number from you. I'm like, Sawamura is going to put in the work. He's like, nah, it's on. I want to have that feeling too. I want to be relied on like you're relied on. And so it's like, okay, Sawamura, I'm glad he got to that headspace. I'm glad he got to that point. But yeah, oh my gosh. So episode 48, Just You Wait. I love the moment with Sawamura and Kuramochi because Kuramochi was down in the dumps. Kuramochi was sad that he got out, and they really only had 2 outs until the game was possibly over. And of course Kuramochi would feel bad about it. But I love in that moment that Sawamura was like, let's go play catch. Come on, go catch my balls. I want to distract you. I want to get you off the bench. Don't put your head down. I love that Kuramochi's like, damn it, he's right. We can't give up yet, right? We can't be defeatist, right? We just got to keep our heads up and move forward. I love that. And then Tojo. Poor Tojo, him getting out. I like that the whole time Todoroki is nervous. Like, we see Coach Todoroki being like, we're so close. Like, don't fudge this up. And him being nervous. But Sawamura and Furuya in good spirits. There was a lot of really good shots of them together and, like, getting along and supporting each other. Ochiai saying, he's like, if Kataoka and them lose, would Kataoka stay if he lost this time around? What would that be like? I feel like by the end of this, Ochiai is like, we can't have Kataoka leave. I'm not doing this by myself. Ochiai is like, I don't want all this pressure. What? Like, I feel like Ochiai realized in these episodes that he is suited to be an assistant coach, not the lead coach. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I wanted to go back through this last episode. I don't normally do that with this series, but the last episode I feel like we need to. But yeah, and then Miyuki being up to bat. Like, well, first Haruichi and Kataoka. Oh my god. Kataoka in these episodes, like with the fist bump and telling Zona what to do, like with him fist bumping Haruichi, like all the feels with Kataoka, especially in the last episode, I was like, oh my god, like him just getting all into it. I'm like, don't you dare leave. Nuh-uh. And so I love that and for a second I thought Haruichi was going to take the metal bat, but he doesn't. Katya was like, don't doubt yourself. Don't overthink it. What was the one thing you told me? And it all comes full circle from the beginning of the series. He's like, what's the one thing you told me? And Haruichi's like, I just want to hit the ball. And he's like, well, let's just do that. Oh my gosh. And then I love that Haruichi's stealing at the top of the ninth, stealing the base. I like the caveat that we find out Sanada is not someone that watches runners. He's mainly a bat focuser. And I'm like a batter focuser. And I like that. That's a cool little thing to characterize him, right? He's doing what most pitchers need to do. Don't worry about the runners, focus on the batter. And he does that, right? And then Haruichi, he gets on Miyuki. Oh my gosh, Miyuki being up to bat, him getting on base, Haruichi getting on third. Miyuki, my dude. Holy crap. And he got to play at Nationals, so he clearly went to the physical therapy and got things healed up. And I'm fine that they don't show us the Jinju tournament. It sounded cool, but I mean, like, we don't need to see it. It's just something cool that they end up going to. But Kataoka having faith in his players, having faith in Zono and Haruichi and them, like him just knowing that they can do it. Oh my gosh. And Zono, the end of episode 48, like just Zono getting my stress level to an all-time high of just being like 2 strikes, like Zono of all people that we give this moment to. But then, yeah, he's able to knock it. He's able to knock it over. And doing what Kataoka told him from the start, like where to aim, how to hit the ball, like hit it right at the very edge of it. And the face of Ray and Ochiai, when Ochiai is like, Ochiai has the best surprise face, I think, in this whole series. His surprised face is wonderful because he's normally so non-expressive. He's normally so, that when he does get surprised, it's really, really good. I will say, too, Furuya does not get surprised. Furuya's like he's the most low energy player on that team, unless he's pitching. He's like kind of opposite of Raichi in a way. It's kind of weird. But even when they all hug him at the end, and Furuya's just like, very Kageyama-like, very much so. But the day that I hear Furuya shout out and yell someone on is like the day hell freezes over. Because Furuya, like, even when he's excited, he does like, this is the most excited he gets. He never yells out loud, and it's like, okay, sure. But yeah, oh my gosh, and Miyuki. So Zono, the callback there. God, so Miyuki. I'm looking at my notes. I wrote Miyuki in giant letters. The steal to home to score the run that put them over. That was the winning play. Miyuki's to home was the winning play, because if they had just tied it, I think that they would have gone extra innings and then they'd been screwed, right? They needed Furuya to just come in for the one inning. It was a gamble, but they're like, we're 1 run over. Surely we can hold them off. And if I like the idea that Ochiai said if they were tied, they would have kept Sawamura in to keep them from scoring and to keep on playing extra innings. But because they were run ahead, they could close out with Furuya. So there was a strategy there, which is interesting. But Miyuki just sacrificing himself to make the play. And then for a second, I thought that he was like not going to get off the field. But he did. It was fine. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I love that Kuramochi had been helping Sawamura, and I felt a little bad for Sawamura that Kuramochi just ditched him, but him running off to see Miyuki, like in that moment, like his fellow second year, I'm like, oh, I get the shippers that ship Kuramochi and Miyuki. After this season, I get it. I get where y'all are coming from. Makes sense. It's fine. I don't ship Kuramochi and Miyuki, but I get it. I get it if you do. And then, yeah, Ochiai and Ray surprised, and it was 5-4. And then Sanada, you know what was sad about these episodes? Is that Sanada started to doubt himself as the ace. He's like, I was given this number, but he's like, dreams don't come easy, which is a very cliche line. But he's like, I'm not truly an ace yet. And I'm like, oh, I felt so bad. I was like, yeah, you are, Sanada. Don't doubt yourself. But by the end of it, he does doubt himself, even though his team, like, pats him on the back and they're like, no, man, you're good. He does doubt himself, which is really, really sad. I'm like, oh, no, Sanada, don't do that. And then Todoroki, I love whenever he bows to the audience in episode 50, not 48, in episode 50. He bows to the audience, and Todoroki's like, stop that. He's like, don't you apologize yet. Don't you give up. We're not done with this game yet. Although I think mentally but I think by the end of that, they mentally were like, mm-mm. But Todoroki's like, don't you give up and bow yet. You wait till the end of the game. And then June in the third year like broke my heart this episode. Like them standing there and June like showing him crying in his dorm room thinking about nationals. We didn't need to see that. We didn't need to see June crying. No, didn't need to see that at all. I will say that as much as I love Sawamura, as much as I love him, he's one of my favorites. I can't hate Furuya because Furuya's just a nice character. He's a nice guy. He can be non-communicative and blunt, but he's nice. There's nothing ill will. There's no ill will intentions with Furuya. And I will say what I love is that him and Sawamura are total opposites. They're polar opposites on the spectrum in so many ways, but definitely in that Sawamura is oblivious. Sawamura doesn't get Miyuki's injury at all. You think he would by now, but he's really oblivious. Furuya is very hyper aware. And so whenever they go out there, I love that Furuya's like, are you okay? Are you all right? And Miyuki's like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, okay, good. I don't have to hold back then. And Miyuki's like, wait, what? I love that. I love it. And I love Kataoka getting all like, using the ace to close. Makes sense. I agree with the move. As much as I hate Sawamura looking sad for that moment, it was the right move to make. It made the most sense. But that moment where Kataoka's like, end it here. I'm like, that was like Kunitomo being like, cracking his neck, being like, finish him. That same vibes. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then, so here's the interesting thing in all this. When Miyuki goes back at the end of episode 50, when Miyuki goes back up to the mound, when Furuya starts pitching, he makes the comment that he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm not like Sawamura. He's like, if I was in Sawamura's position, I would have argued it to stay in. But he's like, I'm not Sawamura. He's like, he may have given you the mound. He's like, but he says he's sorry that he's not Sawamura, and he says, sorry, Ono, but I can't give up this position. And yeah, Miyuki's like, I love this position. I'm going to keep it as long as I can. This is too much fun. What's going to be interesting is when Koshu comes onto this team, because I'm pretty sure Koshu is going to be a catcher. And Koshu seems very sure of himself. Koshu and Masashi seem like very sure of themselves first years, up and coming first years, who they know exactly what needs to be done, right? He's like, I love the idea that they're both like, nah, we are going to be good players on the team. We're going to lift the team up. And it's like, okay, first years, you bright-eyed, bushy-tailed youngins. And I have a feeling that Koshu seems like a blunt character, and he seems kind of like Miyuki, but more straightforward. It seems like Miyuki and Yuki mixed together. Tetsu and Miyuki mixed together, which is interesting. Because Masashi is the brother. You'd think it'd be him being more like Miyuki or more like Yuki. But I just have a feeling that Koshu and Miyuki are going to butt heads. I just have a feeling that they're going to butt heads, right? I have a feeling that Koshu knows exactly what he thinks needs to be done, and Miyuki thinks he knows exactly what needs to be done, and those two are going to butt heads. Kind of like you would expect that I was expecting going into the first season that Chris Senpai and Miyuki were going to be the same way, because in the flashbacks it seems like they're kind of the same way. But Miyuki really respects Chris, and I think the fact that Chris is injured and is taken out of the game is what allows Miyuki to step in and become the catcher that he is. But Miyuki's injured now, but I don't think Miyuki's stepping out, right? Because he's doing the physical therapy with Chris Senpai. Oh my God. But yeah, Koshu's going to be interesting. That's going to be fun to see how that works. How that's going to affect the dynamic. I'm going to be interested about that next season. Going to be interested. But that line, at first I thought he was just talking about Furuya, but no, he says Furuya and Sawamura, they're both crazy. They are. They're both crazy in very different ways. Like, Furuya is an intense, quiet fury and insanity, and Sawamura is the loud, explosive insanity, right? It's like two different kinds of chaos. And so I love that he says, I want them to shine brighter. I want them to surprise me more. I want to see what we can do together. And he's talking about Furuya and Sawamura. Poor Nori! Nori's left out of the equation. He doesn't care about Nori. It's mainly Sawamura and Furuya. Because yeah, Miyuki loves catching both of their balls. Right? Both of their pitches. It's great. So I want to go back to this last episode. Oh my God. This last episode. I'm going to turn the sound off. Go back through this business. There was so much that happened. I give this show props. I give this show a lot of props because it is not at all like the end of season 1. It's not at all like it. Season one felt like it was like just a knockout, drag out through the dirt, like it was never going to end, 16 episode match. And I was wondering how they were going to close this out. And they just do it like in the first third of the episode with this operatic music playing, no sound, no dialogue, just the operatic orchestra and Furuya pitching. But yeah, Miyuki says Sawamura and Furuya, they're both crazy. I love it. And I love he's like, shine even brighter. And as the sunlight's coming down, Miyuki's smiling. Miyuki's genuine smile when he scored that run, it was like him as a little kid. Whenever Miyuki has a genuine smile, it's like the best thing ever. I'm just in love with it. I get why people love his character. As much of a troll as he is, he's the charming troll, right? He says, surprise me even more. I love this. And then as they're going to bed, he's like, let's go see what lies ahead together. Oh, I love it. And then, yeah, Furuya's like not messing around. And I love that the Yakushi batters, they just don't know what to expect, right? And so, yeah, we have our intro, the last time, our OP. And of course, the shot at the end is them in the photo winning nationals, winning the qualifiers for nationals. And so then, yeah, and it's just this operatic music, and Furuya just takes them out one by one. I love that Sawamura is so, he's the cheering, like the operatic music, but Sawamura is so intensely looking like, I want to be like that. I want to have that power, that presence. And okay, I want to note, I didn't get to see because it was just for a split second, okay? But Miyuki's so happy. Miyuki's like, yes, this is exactly what we need to win. And Sawamura is so impressed. And then we get to see the reactions of the pitchers in them. And so they're all different. I want to note this. Nori is excited. Nori's like, we're doing it. We're going to win. Furuya's on fire. Yay. Shunshin is the most interesting because Shunshin looks very glum, oddly enough. He's very like, okay, this is Furuya. This is the kid. This is the prodigy first year. All right. He's his is probably the most surprising because he's probably like, he gets to pitch to Miyuki. I want to pitch to Miyuki. We all want to pitch to Miyuki. Shinji, on the other hand, is like the most animated. He's like, oh my gosh, this is Furuya. He's going to be so much fun to pitch against. And then Mei, I love that Itsuki looks concerned as always in the background, but Mei looks so smug. Mei's like, well, I guess Miyuki's lucky that he gets to be pitched to by someone competent. That's what his face looks like. Mei's just like, ugh, smug. Should have been me. Right? And I love that it's so quiet. Like Kanemaru talking to them and then them swinging, him telling him what to do. It's great. Furuya's just like, I've been waiting all game to pitch these. Hooray. And then, yeah, Kuramochi, they get him out. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh. And them all cheering. Todoroki's like, shit. One out. And then, yeah, just everything, the slider, the whole thing. Like, it was so operatic. It was just like 1 out, 2 out. It just happened so quickly. It was insane. And yeah, Miyuki's like, okay, we can do this. And Furuya's so calm and cool and collected. And then, yeah, Haruichi gets it and catches it. And then, of course, Jun's like, yes! I love Jun's reaction. And Tom, oh look, Tom and Rio. So much happened like really quickly that I needed to pause and look. Tom and Rio like bump fists. What? I love that. And then Nabe and all of them are excited. We got 2 outs, 1 to go. And I love all the girls like holding hands like, we can do this. It's going to be all right. And then they're like, 1 more out. And then Mishima. And I love that shot we get of Raichi and Sanada in the wings. Like, they didn't even get to go up to bat. They didn't even get to bat against Furuya. Damn. They didn't even get to bat against Furuya once. Which is a good thing, right? It was a good thing because Raichi probably could have tied the game. But no, Mishima doesn't even get to them. That shot of them in shadows. And Raichi being like, I wanted to hit his pitch and not getting that chance. And Sanada being like, well, shit. And them all trying to get Mishima. And it just doesn't happen. And so I love this. So Furuya pitching and then getting the changeup and everything. And they're like, damn. And they're 2 strikes. And Furuya's just on fire. And Mishima's like, I can't do it. And he's waiting for Raichi. And Raichi's just sitting there with a smile on his face and the wings. And I love that Mishima gets so sad because he's like, damn it, we're not going to be able to... He's like, I want to get you to base and I can't do it. Oh my God. And then everybody cheering. And you can tell, you can't hear what he's saying, but Mishima's probably like, I got this. And it's like, no. And it's like a ball, 2 strikes. Oh my god. And then from the dugout, this whole time, everybody's been cheering except Sawamura. And I feel like this is such a big moment for Sawamura's character. Him being like, I want to be there. I want to do that. And then, of course, Kataoka's thinking of Furuya, you know, expressing that he wants to pitch and be the ace. Mm-hmm. And I love in that moment, like, Miyuki's like, let's do this. And everybody's cheering. And then as he's pitching, I love that that's when Sawamura, he doesn't hold it back and he tells him to go all out. Oh my gosh. He's like, you better get this out. And then, yeah, he misses. And that's the game. And that's the game. Oh my God. The strikeout. 5-4. And then everybody running. Oh my gosh. And Sawamura leading the way. And then I love this. I love them all tackling Furuya. I wanted to get a close-up on this. And yeah, I love Kuramochi. Kuramochi has his arms around Furuya first. And Furuya's just like, what the hell? And I love that he just like, Furuya just crumples underneath it all. He just crumples beneath all the pressure. the animation of it, like, I imagine seeing this in the manga, but Furuya's just like, he's like just a hot dog. He just collapses. It's so damn funny. Oh my God. It's so good. But yeah, they just, no bat for Raichi or Sanada. And then everybody's cheering. Oh my God. And then I love that Rai's like, yes! And Ochiai's like, and he's like, well. And then Miyuki getting up, like he doesn't run after him, but he just, oh man. And then Raichi's like, I didn't get to bat. And then yeah, all of Yakushi being sad, Mishima. And them all going up there. And this is why I love Yakushi, for the record. Why I love them. That you have Kataoka with the hat down and Todoroki's like, damn it, we didn't make it. But when they all go to line up and Sawamura's like, stand properly, come on. And Kuramochi looking so worried for Miyuki. Kuramochi's like by his side, like, are you okay, buddy? Like, oh man. And that's when Akiba and Sanada's reaction, noticing that Miyuki can barely stand up. And they're like, bow, and Miyuki can barely do it. And Sanada being so worried. Him being like, oh. And then they were helping him off the field. And I love that Sanada and Akiba, he's like, he was injured? Was he playing with an injury the entire game? And then Sanada gets mad. He's like, we were so full of ourselves that we couldn't even see it. Like, Sanada, my dude. Sanada is one of my favorites, I think, because he even recognizes, he's like, damn it. And then Mishima, he's like, I'm sorry, Raichi. He says, I couldn't put you in the box. He's about to cry. And I love that Raichi doesn't cry in this. He doesn't cry this time around. No. And he says, yeah. And Mishima, he's like, I wanted to face him. I didn't want it to end. Oh, that got Mishima. He's like, I wanted to play more. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mishima just can't take it anymore. Oh. And then them all cheering them on. And then that's when they all line up and the team comes. They're like, we'll come and cheer for you. We wanted to see you guys at Nationals. And all the third years cheering them, saying it was a good game. Oh. And the Sanada defense, base running strategy, situational batting. I know we couldn't win with momentum alone. I know what we were lacking. And I think he feels like that they were lacking, that he wasn't good enough as the ace to lead his team to victory. He's like, all too well. And I love in that moment that his teammates put their hands on his back, their hands on the number 1, the ace sign. I love that. This team supports him. He's like, still, we were so close. And I love, he's like, it's not just a dream. And he's like, we had our hands on it. We were close. It just slipped away. And I love that moment, and Todoroki talks about it later, but none of them look down. They all have their heads forward. Like, they don't let him keep his head down. They all tell him to keep his head high. That they were really close. Even Todoroki's like how moved he is. I love Yakushi. I'm not sad that they lost because I wanted Sato to win, but man, that whole message of keeping your head up despite it. And then everybody cheering Sato. Oh my gosh. And Zono's just crying uncontrollably. Him and Aso just crying. It's great. And then Furuya's just kind of stunned. And I like that Ono's like, nice pitch. Like, Ono comes up to celebrate with him. I like Ono. Ono's really grown on me. And his dad got to see him pitch That's one thing, too. Furuya's grandpa was there. Not his dad, but his grandpa was there. And then Ajun, like, Sawamura's family's all there, and they're all happy. But I'm glad that Furuya's grandpa got to see him pitch. Like, that's really good. I'm glad he got to see him close out the game. Right? They're such a quiet family. And then, of course, Sawamura's like, I love you. He's like, you didn't do the pitch right. Of course, he has to give Furuya hell. He pitched like a true ace. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they finally opened the door to nationals. Yep. And then the Jingu tournament, which we don't apparently get to see, but that's fine. It's, 10 days later. And then at the Invitational, after going through winter training. And so, yeah, Shinji looks all excited. Shinji's like, oh, this is exciting. And Itsuki's like, looking over to Mei, like, and then look at Mei, Kazuya. So you're going to experience it too. Oh, I love that smile Mei gives. That cocky smile. He's like, it's about damn time you got to nationals, Kazuya. Oh my gosh. She's like, things are getting interesting. And man, Shirakawa is such a bitch. Like, what? He's like, no, Kazuya got to nationals. It's like, dude, chill. I love the Shirakawa being the jealous man that my full headcanon is that Mei and Miyuki totally had a thing. Shirakawa was totally jealous of it and resents Miyuki ever since. That's my headcanon, because he's not happy they get to go. And I love that even though Shirakawa is like pissed off about it, like Carlos is like, all right, cool. The other's like, all right. And I love Mei's comment. He's like, go and come back as a more formidable team. He's like, you're not going to be worth our time to face unless you go to nationals too. So go experience it and come back and we'll be on the equal playing field. And he's like, summer nationals will be ours. And he's like, let's go back. Mei's like, I got my second wind. So Mei's like, all right, we're even now. You guys get to go to nationals. We went to nationals. When we face each other next summer, we'll be on equal playing field. It'll be winner takes all. I love that. And he's like, okay. I love Harada. It looks like they lit a fire under him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Harada, you are 100% correct. And then, yeah, so Shunshin, who's freaking tall, is talking to, like, all the other guys. We get that. We get Maki. Maki in his, like, jock Chad flannel shirt. Looking nice up there. We get him watching. All right. And then these principal superintendents are like, we did it. And then I like this reflection by Ochiai. I like this, where Ochiai is like, in the last inning, Coach Kataoka replaced Sawamura with Furuya. And it worked out perfectly. Mm-hmm. And I like this. He says, trusting the ace. It's not as easy as it sounds. If it were me... But Ochiai is like the biggest Furuya fanboy, supposedly. So what's the deal, right? What is the deal? And I love the third years all cheering him on and being happy for them. But I love that... And Zono and Aso are crying together. It's great. And I love that they're all proud of them. But Jun, he has this melancholy look on his face where he's like, nationals. He's like, you guys get to experience it. I'm jealous. And I know that feeling. Oh my gosh, I know that feeling. Because it's like when I did speech competitively, we placed second one year. We placed second my freshman year in college, and we placed third my sophomore year. And then like a few years after that, the team that came after us won. And it was such a feeling like you were happy for him, you're excited for him, you're like, oh, you guys did it, but at the same time, you do feel kind of jealous because you're like, man, we put in all that work too, and we just fell short of it, and it's like you're happy for him, but at the same time, you're a little jealous. So I know exactly how Jun feels when he has that moment. And then, yeah, 5-4, the fall tournament. And then, yeah, we get the kids saying that Furuya-san was so cool. How fast does he pitch? And the other kid's like, Sawamura-san was really good, too. And they're like, yeah, and really loud. I feel like all the kids will love Sawamura because he's really loud. It's great. And so we have Masashi. Uh-huh. And they were like, I was rooting for Yakushi. And so we have Masashi who's walking through the crowd listening. And then we see Koshu and the other guy alongside Shinji. And they're like saying they'll all meet again, you know. And they're like, oh, Amahisa Kosei's on the rise. I saw Inashiro in the stands. Like, everybody's commenting on who all they saw. And yeah, so Shinji's like, bye. And I like Koshu doesn't wave goodbye. Koshu's too cool to wave. But the other guy waves. And Shinji's like, okay, see ya. And oh my god, I freaking love this scene where it's Mei with the girls. Mei has like total Oikawa vibes. Like, yoo-hoo. Like Mei is just living it up. And he's making Itsuki take the photo! Oh my god, no. I just noticed that Itsuki is taking the photo with the girls, holding both luggages, taking the photo of Mei with the two girls, and Harada is like, I was a second round pick. Harada's like, don't you ladies want to take a photo with me? I was a second round pro baseball pick, but you want to take a photo with Mei? Okay. What a diva. Oh my god, I love it. I freaking love it. So we go down to the locker room, and I like that we have Salmura and Furuya and Haruichi loading up the cooler with the ice and everything. And we have Tojo and Kanemaru talking to one another, and we have Kuramochi and Kuramochi over there with Miyuki, right? And Ono. And they're like, it's the same Dr. Furuya-kun saw. And they're like, should I get a taxi? And they're like, yes. And he's like, boys, don't forget to ice. Oh, he's telling them to ice, not to get him ice. And Samura's like, shut up, I'm doing it right now. You didn't even tell us you were hurt. You kept me out of the loop. Oh, and she's like, you didn't notice? You didn't notice? Yeah, so Samura finally figured it out, and Furuya's like, I've known all along. I also want to make note that throughout this entire game, it's not in the locker room, but Haruichi, we saw more of Haruichi's eyes in these episodes than we've seen the entire series, I think. And so I kind of like that, because I feel like you have Ryo, who never shows his eyes. His eyes are always shut. And then you've had Haruichi, who's kept his eyes, like, covered, kind of like his brother, where you don't see his eyes, but now you do. And so I kind of want Haruichi to show us his eyes more often. I really do. I want that to be a thing. But yeah. And he's like, oh, are you worried about me? I like that Miyuki's teasing him. And he's like, shut up and go see a doctor. And I like that Miyuki genuinely laughs at that. Miyuki and Samura's banter, it's great. And then Kataoka says he's sorry. I like that. He's like, the last inning, I wasn't planning on letting you play. But I didn't want to shake things up. I didn't want to give Yakushi any openings. And so I kept you in. And he's like, I prioritized the win over your health. I'm happy he apologizes, but we just saw Miyuki back last episode say that he was going to stay in no matter what. He was going to argue it. So I am glad that Kataoka apologizes, though, because I think that's important that he gives Miyuki that. And like Miyuki's like, okay, I see. He's like, if you still thought I was useful, though, I'm glad. I honestly thought I was dragging the team down with my selfishness. Uh-huh. And then, yeah, Zono's like, quit trying to sound cool. You know what you were doing. And Nori's like, not like you would have switched anyway. Nori's like, mic drop. Nori's like, you wouldn't have switched to begin with. So he's calling it like it is. And I love that Kuramochi is so helpful. Kuramochi's like helping him go up there. I love it. Him and Zono, the vice captains. And Miki's like, I can walk. And Kuramochi's like, you could barely make it to the lineup. Aw. I love it. You were crying like crazy, Zono. You wouldn't have known. Yeah, I love that. It's great. I love that Kuramochi and him are helping as vice captains. Mm-hmm. And so then Ray talks about the Jinju tournament being in 10 days. There's no way Miyuki's probably going to play it. They may have to use Ono. They tackle it. And then Ray saying, as the coach of the Tokyo tournament. Ray is just like, yeah, you quitting? That's not happening, right? We're not going to let that happen, right? I love that she's like, as coach of the Tokyo tournament champions, you'll be in the dugout, won't you? Ray just calling him out, like putting the pressure on him. And we don't see his reaction. Uh-huh. And so then we go to this conversation with Todoroki. And this stuff all happened so quickly, I couldn't make a lot of notes. But Todoroki saying, in the end, only the outcome matters. Anything the loser says just sounds like an excuse. Like, Todoroki's like, I know how this works. I've played baseball long enough. He's like, I do want to say one thing. He's like, the boys played really well. They were admirable. They kept their heads up and looked forward. I love that. He's like, they taught me so much. Oh, I love that. I love that Todoroki's like, I've learned so much from my boys. I love them. It's like, And then these two guys, the guys that are at the school, the superintendents, they're so annoying. He's like, we finally made it to nationals. It's been such a long road, 7 years. And I for the record, Ochiai needs to keep the green jacket. It's probably his best outfit. People across the country will know of our school. Well done, Coach Ochiai. And Ochiai's like, I ain't taking credit for this. You'll be starting your career at nationals. And he's like, that's a happy-go-lucky attitude. The runner-up in the summer and champions in the fall. With this track record, many good players will want to come to Sato. He's like, and they're going to be expecting Kataoka. It's only going to get busier from here. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Ochiai is very, like, minimum effort. Like, Ochiai's really good at strategy. He's really good at coaching in terms of thinking of ideas. But Ochiai is not going to want to be busy by himself. He's not putting in overtime, basically. Ochiai is not an overachiever, right? Ochiai's like, that's going to be busy. You expect me to do that all on my own? No. He's like, it's going to get busy from here. Sheesh. I wonder if I have any connections somewhere. What you need to do first and foremost is to make sure that Coach Kataoka doesn't quit. I love it. And so then they all get... So, of course, the last three to leave. And they don't get to see the coach thing either. They miss the third year's things, too. So Miyuki misses it. Kuramochi and Zono miss it. These three first years miss it. They miss the coach speech, which is kind of sad. I was really hoping they'd see that. But so we have our boys, and Sawamura and Furuya both have the ice on their shoulders, and Haruichi's with them. And I like that Haruichi's like, Furuya-kun, do you want this? Like with the towel. I do kind of ship Furuya and Haruichi just a little bit. And I love that Kanemaru's like, Sawamura! Like yelling at him. I love it. And they're like, is your ankle okay? He's like, yeah. I wonder what Kanemaru was yelling at him for. And then, yeah, Sawamura seeing the ace number. Oh, I love that face. And then so I find it interesting that there's this really cool thing here where Miyuki gives Kuramochi and Zono a hard time, and he's like, I can't be captain anymore. I'm not suited to be captain. Take over from me. Help me. And he's like about to faint, and they're both like, he's like, you guys should put yourselves in my shoes. It's a lot of work. And they're both like, what the heck? He's like, you can be captains. And they're like, get yourself together. Is he dying? He's going crazy. It's so tough. And they're like, driver, hurry, please. I really like this. It's a weird dynamic because you have Miyuki as a joke. Miyuki's like, I'm not suited to be captain, when he is in fact suited to be captain. He's just giving Zono and Kuramochi a hard time because it is a tough position. But you have that juxtaposed with Sawamura telling Furuya he wants to become the ace and he's going to fight for it. Like, he knows that position's tough, but he wants to be in that same spot. And it's like, So then, yeah, oh my God, we go out to this part right here, and there's all the third years. This part, if I wasn't so jacked up and hyped up from these episodes, I probably would have cried, but I was so jacked with just energy and them all congratulating. And this moment with Yuki in the middle, he says, congratulations, coach. And Yuki's just like smiling, not chatting. They're like, you guys are finally going to nationals. Let's win nationals now. Boss. And his face. Like Kataoka's face. It's like a mixture of Furuya and Sawamura, like that surprise. They're like, congratulations. Like Kataoka getting like congratulated by his babies. They're like, let's take the top. Nice one. You have to go all the way. June is like, you have to go all the way. You better make him the best coach in Japan. Oh. And he says today, and that's when they all stop. Oh, they all stop looking at him because he's going to cry. Today we won. This speech, oh my God. But we didn't win the game alone. And he's like, his lips trembling. He's crying, yeah. And they're all like, oh my God. Oh, I love this. He's like, we all tasted defeat last summer. And him being like, thinking that he was going to quit because he'd let them down. You showed the first and second years how to always stay positive and train hard. And I'm with the third year manager. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. She's like, this is too much. And she's starting to tear up. And I'm crying. All of you third years, my boys, my babies, are part of the reason that we won. Because, yeah, a lot of them were doing it to avenge the third years, to take Kataoka. But it's so, this whole season, the whole reason Kataoka resigned in the first place was because he thought he'd let those third years down. He's like, I let you boys down. We can't go to nationals because I wasn't a better coach. I wasn't the best coach I should have been. And it's my fault. And so he's like, I don't want to do the same thing again. And then they won, and he's seeing now the third years, they still love and respect him despite all that. And they're still so happy that he was able to go to nationals with this team. And it's so sweet seeing Kataoka get emotional. Our stone pillar, and they're all like, and then him bowing and saying thank you to them. The demon child. Oh my God. Oh. And the team is like, what? Coach? And then all the managers, and they're going to have to tell Samura and all this about this. Shirasu's about to cry. Yuki's lip trembling. Yuki's holding it back. He's trying to stay strong, but his mouth is trembling. Tamba doesn't even try. Tamba's like just waterfall tears. Tamba's just like a waterfall of tears. And Chris Senpai is like the coolest cucumber alive. Like even June's tearing up, and Chris is just like, Chris is like nerves of steel. And then they're like, throw him in the air, and they all run to him. And I love his face. He's like, no. And they're like, we're going for 10 at least, coach. That's not enough. On 3. I love this. What's the Guinness World Record? I love Yuki, not Miyuki. I love Yuki like lifting up the sleeve, being like, what's the world record? We're gonna break it with the green fire. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. And they're like, are you serious, Tetsu? Toss him super high. We needed more in the middle. I really wanted to see them throw him, and I'm glad we got to see that in the end. Oh my God. But then they cut back to the basement. So Samura and them, hopefully they show up right as they see him throwing. I wanted them to see that with the coach. Oh, but we cut back to the basement as they're all walking up the stairs. And I love this moment with Samura. He says, Furuya. I love this. Where he's like, you told me before that you were happy you came to this school. That you were glad you came here. Right? Because he got to have a team, right? I love it. And I love Samura, him smiling. And seeing in that moment, like, seeing him on the mound. Oh my gosh. Right now. I sincerely feel the same. That I'm glad you came here. And that he's glad he came here too. I'm going to steal that ace number. Oh, man. And Asian's like, all right, this will get interesting. And I love Furuya's smile. Furuya, his smile. Oh, that's like so sweet. He's like, okay, you can try. That's like the only time we've seen Furuya smile ever, isn't it? Isn't this the only time we've ever seen Furuya smile in this series? Is Samura threatening to take it? Ah, I love that. I won't lose. Oh, man. And then all of them throwing him up in the air. Oh, I love this. Oh. And so then Miyuki and all them miss the whole thing. Miyuki looks so miserable in the back seat. Zono is just yelling at him, berating him, and Kuromochi's like, you kind of deserve this. And Miyuki's like, oh. And I love Ray's like, okay, our poor boy, our poor Miyuki. And then we get the credits. We get the end credits scene. Oh my God. And so, yeah, I want to know, like, all this stuff happened so quickly. I was like, oh, there wasn't enough time to write. So you have Furuya and Samura racing each other with the tires, trying to get better. And then we go back and we cut to like all the ground's getting cleaned. We cut back to, I'm assuming this is all in the present time, right? All of them grabbing the bats to swing. Yep, they're all getting ready for the tournament. The training center, Miyuki training with Chris Senpai doing physical therapy. Oh, I love it. I love it. And then it's winter. There's snow. June is helping Zono bat. I love it. And then we get to see like all the grounds and everything, all the uniforms getting washed, and it's not snowing anymore, it's raining, so it's like spring. And then Salmer is running ahead of everybody. I like it. We see all of the guys the third years helping out, and them all training. Shirasu and Kuramochi and them. Nabe's on the field training too. Nice. And then, okay, in this shot here, we have Salmura is caring for Ruya. Ono is getting carried by Nori, and Kanemaru, I'm assuming, is carrying Tojo. And then we have Merry Christmas, Sato. Oh my gosh. And I love that Kuramochi has his arm around, Kuramochi having his arm around Salmura. So I was like, oh my gosh. And Haruichi. Tojo looks more and more like Jun. Like Tojo's in the back there, and the only reason I know it's Tojo is that he doesn't have the facial hair. But Tojo looks more and more like Jun. I love that. I love Kuramochi's like so excited with them. And you see Jun there. Okay, there's Masako's ready to eat. Rio and Yuki and Jun are with the third year manager. I kind of ship the third year manager and Yuki. Really like that. It's great. She made them a strawberry cake. I didn't see Ochi with the Christmas hat on. That's amazing. Ochi with the Christmas hat. Green is definitely Ochi's color. He has the green cardigan. Green is Ochi's color. He looks best in green. And Ray and Kataoka have the cups. They're clearly spiking their eggnog for this, as chaperones for this shindig. And Kataoka has his trademark, just slightly unbuttoned top and blazer. Yep. And then snow on the mountains, everything like that. We go, it's New Year's. Everybody's going and wishing New Year's. I want to see this. Sawamura goes home and sees his middle school friends. I love that. I love Sawamura with the blue scarf and I have a red coat that looks exactly like what Sawamura is wearing, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, and then Wakana. And I love Wakana's like looking, and of course he's probably praying that they have a really good year. And I love Wakana looks over with the blush in her face. Aww. And Sawamura and Wakana next to each other. If I didn't ship Miyuki with Sawamura, I would ship Sawamura with Wakana. Could ship them with both. I also love that we go back to Miyuki's steel. And his dad's working in the steel shop. And Miyuki comes home. And I like that when Miyuki comes home, it's like an office when he walks in the door. There's like shipments, there's packages waiting to go to his dad. There's like stuff on the counter. There's like a thing. It looks like two dudes live there, basically. There is not a feminine touch in that home. But he looks, and there's the bento for him, like with the chopsticks, like the bento has the cling wrap over it waiting on him. Aww, Miyuki's like, hey, I'm home with my dad, my hardworking dad. Aww. And so they're going to nationals. Oh my gosh, we get this. It's them going, it's graduation. They're all graduating. Oh man, and you see all the third years with their diplomas and everything. And they're all like so sad, like about to cry. Jun looks like Jun and Rio. We don't see Jun and Rio's eyes, like both of them are about to cry. Chris Senpai and Yuki will never cry though. And then yeah, them seeing like all the underclassmen waiting on him. Oh. And them all running towards him. It's great. I love that shot between Miyuki and Yuki looking at each other, like them both recognizing, and then Jun's got Zono in a headlock. I like the one guy that looks like Salmura. I always forget his name, but he's giving like Furia like a good, like, here you go. And then Shirasu is like taking Tojo under his wing, and Salmura is like saying something to Chris Senpai and like thanking him, and Kanemaru and them were like, what are you doing, Salmura? And Chris is like, it's cool. I wish I know what Chris told him, but Salmura tearing up at it. And make note that as Salmura tears up and thanks Chris, you see Miyuki in the background looking over at him. And it's a nice callback to the very beginning of this series. Salmura was at such odds with Chris. Like, that seems like so long ago. They were at such odds with each other. And now, whatever Chris is telling him, like, whatever advice Chris is giving him, he's, like, crying over it. Miyuki's like, look at you. And then, yeah, Rio giving his brother a hard time, throwing the glove up in the air. Like, you want the glove? Here you go. You get it. I love that. And then we cut to nationals. I'm like, what the hell? Why? I was like, I'm not ready to see this game yet. And maybe we won't even see it. But we cut to nationals to see them all together playing on the field. And it is the 1, 2, 3. It's the 7th, top of the 7th inning. It's 4-1. Sato is winning against Homei, winning 4-1 so far. It's day 5 of the tournament. So day 5. Okay, so it's day 5, and the game between Homei from Kyushu and Sato from Tokyo is nearing its end in the 7th. And you see Ochai in the coach's gear. He looks so weird. He looks so weird as a coach. I'm just going to say it. Ochai, it does not suit him. Coach Ochai. You're in the way. He's like, it's cold in there. Then wear a jacket. I love it. It's their first national tournament in 7 years. And you see the mom. Oh my God. Oh my God. In the stands, Sawamura's parents and grandparents are next to Furuya's grandpa. And Sawamura's grandpa is giving Furuya's grandpa a hard time. Oh my God. And I love that Sawamura's parents are like, Grandpa, stop. Oh my God. Furuya's grandpa looks like he's about to slug Sawamura's grandpa. Oh my God. I love it. It's his second time here as a coach. It's Ochiai's second time as a coach. This is Teshin Kataoka, formerly known as the Ace on Fire. Ooh, he's calling for a change in pitchers. Ace on Fire. Interesting. And then, and look, Furuya's just like, it says the Ace Furuya is going into left field, and Furuya's like, And I love Miyuki's like, all right. And then in comes Sawamura for the top of the 7th. So I'm guessing Furuya's getting a... And look at Chris Senpai with his popped collar, his sweet detective jacket. Jun, of course, has a moto jacket, has like a leather jacket. Of course, Jun does. Rio, Rio's fashion, for Rio having such like a blunt and like shark-like personality, Rio wears lots of pastel and bright colors. It's interesting. But yeah, they're all there. Those 3 are there to watch. And I love that Sawamura's like, what's so special about nationals? And now we're seeing Sawamura running to the mound as Sato's southpaw. Eijun Sawamura. I love it. I love it. Jun looks like so much older with his goatee. I don't know what you want out of nationals. Oh my gosh. But who sets their goals on something anyone can go to? I love it. I love it. And then Wakana's there. It's because we try. We try because it's hard. It's a dream because it takes a lot of work. And I love that Nori's there probably being like, I'm here if you need me, me and Ono over here. And I'm wondering if this is like his first day pitching like at Nationals. He's like, no matter who we're playing, no matter where we are, we just play Sato's baseball. And going back to Kataoka's words, I love it. And we can see Haruichi's eye. I love it. What's so special about Nationals? Why don't you go figure that out yourself? Oh, and then he's like, I'll keep everyone busy. So fielders, thank you in advance. So we get that perfect shot of Miyuki getting ready to catch his pitches. Damn! And then my camera shut off right at the end when I was at the picture. But it's the same picture from before, just with Kataoka. Oh, with Kataoka and Ochiai and them. Oh my gosh. But it's them from Nationals. Okay, and look, thank you for watching these 2.5 years. Yuji Terajima. Aw, that shot of Miyuki with Furuya and Sawamura. Aw. Okay, so, God. So, oh my gosh. That's crazy, right? Holy crap. So it just jumped to episode 1 of season 3. So I'm gonna stop it right there. But I just looked down at the date, and it's April 2nd of 2019. So it was 3 years between the second season and the third. 3 years. So if that's true, then maybe by next year, the next season will come out. Maybe by 2023. Maybe. Oh my God. I don't know. Somebody on Discord was saying something about the manga. You'll have to remind me about that. But holy cow. This season was fantastic. I loved this season so much. And it just built off of the first season. It built off all those character dynamics. It built off Sawamura's struggles and seeing him. And Sawamura's not perfect. You know, he's not the ace. He still has room to improve and to prove himself. But Sawamura has become reliable. And he still has a ways to go. But I'm so excited to see him and Furuya with their rivalry and how that's going to go. I'm so excited to see how Koshu and Masashi and these others coming onto the team is going to go. I'm so excited to see what teams are going to face them in this coming season, how that's going to happen. I hope that they at least... I don't know if they're going to start out the next season with us finding out how Nationals ended. If they're not going to show us Nationals, I kind of wanted them to show us Nationals, but I don't know. I kind of want them to show us what happened at Nationals, but... maybe we'll see, maybe we won't. I don't know. But I'm glad that Kataoka decided to stay on with Ochai and them co-coach together. I'm glad they decided to work together and stick it through. Right? Or at least that's what it seems to be. I'm happy that that's the case. But what? These 3 episodes were definitely a lot different than the ending of season 1, which I'm glad. I like it's fresh. It's fresh. It's not repetitive. But I'm so... curious to see what we're going to do next season. Like, how is this going to go? I don't know. I don't know how the dynamic's going to change with the new first years. Now that Miyuki and them are third years, how's that going to do? Are we going to see the third years, like what they're doing now that they've graduated? Are we going to cut to them occasionally? How is Inashiro going to be with their dynamic with Shinji joining the team? What's that going to be like? What are the other teams going to be doing? Because, like, Sonata's a second year. He's going to be a third year. Raichi's going to be a second year. That means Yakushi's going to get first years. They're going to have to call Raichi senpai. What's Kosei going to be doing? What's Shinshin we established isn't going to be there, which is sad. But I'm so curious, y'all. I'm so curious to see what's going to happen. I don't know. But this was such a great end of the season. I absolutely loved it. And we still have 2 OVAs. So my next thing I'm going to be watching, before we start Act 2 or Season 3, before we do that, I don't know if I'm going to call it, I guess I do Ace of the Diamond Act 2, because it's not technically called Season 3. It's called Act 2. Okay, sure. So I guess from there, I guess what I'm going to do is watch the OVAs. And then start Act 2 and just call it Ace of the Diamond Act 2 episodes 1 through 3. And we'll still do the 3 episodes at once, I think, for those. I've got wrote down there is a filler episode in season 3. I'm trying to say where I put that was. I know that there is a filler episode. Y'all have told me about it. I'm trying to see if I wrote it down somewhere where that filler episode is. Maybe. I have it wrote down somewhere what the filler is, and so I'll probably find it, but I definitely know to skip that one because it's a recap episode. But yeah, we'll do the OVAs next, 4 and 5. In between these, maybe the OVAs will cover the Jingu tournament. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the OVAs are going to be about. Maybe they'll cover the Jingu tournament since we don't touch base on it, since we go straight to Nationals at the end of this season. So that would be interesting. But I'm going to cover that and then start with Act 2 next week. So we made it, y'all. We made it through 2 seasons, 125 episodes. Holy crap. And we still have 51 to go, I'm pretty sure. I think we've got 51 to go, so we'll see. But I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. So in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with the OVAs and then Act 2 of Ace of the Diamond. Bye.